little warm up slash workout. Always warm up in some rockers, even if you're really advanced. Trying to get this shin flush with the ground, butt to heels, with the big toes touching and the heels away. Keeping crown forward, tail back as you rock back and forth, and rocking as far back as you can without breaking your form. If your ankles and shins are lifted off the ground in this position, so if you're like right here and you can't get this flush with the ground or flush with the mat, add a rolled up towel or something to give your shin something to push off of. So we're trying to push off this outside blade of the leg and through the outside blade of the foot in these child rockers. So I've already warmed up in this, but go for about 30 reps, 20 to 30 reps. And then if you are stuck in a position like right here, if you get down about halfway, just rock, do little rocks in this position and count those reps. Like it doesn't have to be a full rep, or you can just do time. So you can time yourself for 30 seconds and then just rep out however many reps you get in 30 seconds. Start off slow and then go pick up speed as you get further down, get further into the set. Then go into toe tuck rockers. I'll show the back of you. Again, big toes touch, heels away. Trying to get this shin and ankle flush with the ground. Knees 2 fists width apart in the front. Hands out in front. Middle fingers pointing straight. Shoulders over hands. I'm trying to get the butt back to the heels. I guess I should probably warm up with this for a little longer because my butt isn't getting to my heels very well. Then 30 reps here. Go to toe tuck rockers. Same principle, except these toes are tucked under. You're keeping your heels up this time. Fist width distance in the back. Heels point straight up. You're trying to get your toes to be invisible when looking from behind. So right now my toe is probably visible from behind. My toes are kind of immobile right now. They're not warmed up yet. So this gap isn't being closed where I should get the full ball of my foot on the ground here, but I can't right now. But because the mat is grippy and because I'm pushing with my hands to try to get my butt to my heels, I'm flexing my big toes, my big toe especially, but my toes, all my toes in my arch, to bend back and create space in my foot so I can later, as I get into my squat and my hinge, I can later have a mobile enough foot and ankle to do them correctly. That's why you should probably, for most people anyways, especially older people, they should always start in the 2 rockers, the child rockers with the heels away, big toes touching, or the toe tuck rockers, because without those 2 exercises, without being good at them, you won't have enough space in the foot and in the ankle and in the knee and the hip and the back to even do a squat, to even do something like a bolt squat or a hinge or a lunge or a half kneeling. You just won't be able to do it. Your big toe will pop up. Your shin won't be able to rotate out or spiral out. And then another one is the bow hip stretch. So the rockers, the 2 rockers, and then the bow hip stretch, if you have a GOATA mat, putting your shin along this angle here, back foot reaching to that back corner, to the opposite corner that your kneecap is pointing to, and then getting this nice stretch in this pocket here. If you don't feel the stretch, that's good, because it means you're mobile enough that you don't need it. And then straightening this back leg so you can kind of get this stretch in the front pocket. Again, if you don't feel a stretch, that's probably good, because, well, most people are going to feel a stretch, but as you get further down, you probably shouldn't feel a stretch. I don't feel a stretch here right now. Other leg, about 30 to 40 seconds each leg on this. Getting these back kneecap, the front kneecap, and this chest all pointing in this direction. This same side hand, this elbow should pull back your hand on your rib or on your butt, and this hand is just splitting the middle between your two columns. So it's just splitting here. Straighten the back leg to feel it in the front pocket of the hip. Then go back into your child rocker after 30 seconds, 30 to 45 seconds of that. Another 30 reps of child rockers. See, now I'm already warm, like my butt is getting to my heels easily now. So at the start, I could barely get there, but now I can literally go right here. Now my butt is touching my heels because I've created that space with those 3 exercises, which is why you should probably almost always warm up with them, even if you're already a full GOATA. And toe spacers will help, especially on the toe tug rockers. If you don't have toe spacers on the toe tug rockers, when you get into your toe tuck, you can manipulate your toe, try to get it wide, try to get it pointed almost inward. So then you can create that space. Because if you're kind of bunionated, if your toe is pointed really far this way, it'll hurt more than it'll help. So you want to get that toe to spread out to create the most optimal space in the foot, and that'll help with the bunions too. Like I had a bunion on both feet, but especially on my right. My second pointer finger was lapping over it. It was like LeBron. It was lapping over it, and it was causing a whole bunch of problems in both toes, and I was able to gradually get it back straight. I still want it, ideally I want it to point more out on this like a line right here. I want it to point out here naturally, but I can't do that yet without pulling it myself. So the toe tug rockers and the toe spacers and the Vivo barefoots, the Zero shoes, the sandals, or the wide toe box sandals will all help with that. And it's what helped me get rid of my bunion. And then after 3 to 5 rounds of rockers, child rockers, toe tuck rockers, and the bow hip stretch here, we can start getting into more of the hypertrophy type stuff, because this stuff isn't really going to make you tired. It's not going to change movement. It's not going to change your movement long term. It may help decompress you and create some space. It might create some short term like solution. Like if you have knee pain, this routine might help relieve it for a day or two. But if you start getting back into full practices with lifting at the end, you're going to have that knee pain all over again. So you want to change you want to decompress and then change your movement with the squats, with the hinges, with the lunges, with the drop in as you get further down in your GOATA journey. So after you're warmed up with that, you can get into something like a bow hip rocker, which is the same as the bow hip stretch, but you're just lifting up this back leg. Split stance, keeping that elbow pulled back, head is over the foot. Let me pull back a little bit. Head is over the knee. So head is in this column. This back leg is cornered. So both kneecaps point in the same direction. This back heel is away. And you're just rocking back and forth, trying to create this nice stretch / hypertrophy in this glute, in this IT band. Just rocking little rocks. About 30 reps of that. 20, 30 reps of that. Switch legs. Same thing. Head over the foot. You might find one side is easier than the other. So like right now, my right, I'm not feeling the glute quite engaged yet. So I'm going to spend a little more time here. It may take more reps on one side, especially if one side's weaker. A lot of people have a dominant leg and a leg that gives them more trouble via pain, or like my right foot was always more messed up. My right knee was always more messed up. My right hip was always more messed up. All those things are correlated. And I stood way more crooked on my right foot. My toes were pointed way out, whereas my left foot remained pretty straight, and I never really had much problems with my left foot. So boom, I'm feeling my glute now after I've gone through the rockers. My glute's now pretty engaged there, so now we can move on to like either a bolt, go back into the bolt squat here, or I'm gonna go into like a half kneeling, which is a little bit easier. So you're kneeling down, head is over this foot, knee is going to be outside the column without this big toe pad lifting up. So you may find it easier to do it with a slant board. Cool. GOATA sells these on GOATAshop.com. I made these before I found GOATA, so they're like the same. They're like the same angle. So I just use them, but you may find it easier on this half kneeling to get your foot, to get your leg bowed out when doing it. So boom, the inner ankle bone is already high here. This knee is pretty much outside the column, which is good in this stretch. And I can just set my hand forward. This nose is over my second toe, head over foot. Back leg can be straight or kneeling. You just want this back kneecap to be pointing in the same direction as your chest and your front kneecap. So my chest is turned into this front leg, head over foot. And I'm just going to straighten this back leg and set it back down. I'm trying to keep this ball of the foot on the ground and trying to keep my head over my foot and both kneecaps and chest pointing in the same direction. So going about 20 or 30 reps here on both legs. If you just want to hold it isometrically in this position, it's fine. Or if you just want to hold it and kind of pulse out reps here while kneeling, that's fine as well. You're just trying to open up this ankle and hip. So then you're able to go into a double leg squat or a single leg, but with more pressure, because this is very limited pressure. I mean, you got your hand on the ground, you got your back foot on the ground. This isn't, it's imitating a landing, but you're nowhere near the amount of control, foot control, head control. You're nowhere near the amount that you need for a drop in or a stride that you will take in sprinting. So same, back kneecap can be on the ground, back foot in a toe tuck or a heel away, doesn't matter. And then just trying to get this knee to be outside the column. Your column is your foot up, head over my foot. You can stay here, pulse here for 20 to 30, where you can lift up his back leg to get the stretch in the front pocket. So this front leg, is my right leg, would be bowed, or it would be in a bow. And my left leg, my back leg, would be in a corner with the kneecap pointing in. This kneecap's pointing out. Again, pressurizing this outside edge of the foot without letting this inside big toe pad pop up. So the big toe pad is like a cliff ridge. The toe is big because you don't want to go past it. You don't want to have so much pressure in the big toe that you're collapsing over it. It's big because you can't let anything pass by it. You want to have the pressure funneling to this outside edge of the foot and down to just in front of your heel. So when you're pressurizing, when you're doing any workout, whether GOATA or not, you should be pressurizing from this point up into this outside edge and then through the big toe. When I say you don't want to have pressure fold over the big toe, it doesn't mean to lift up the big toe. You keep that down while keeping this outside edge pressure. So after you get done with about 2 to 3 sets of the rockers and bow hip stretch, you'll go into like a bow hip stretch or a bow hip rocker, which was this bow hip rocker. and then superset that with the half kneeling stretch. So again, half kneeling from behind. You don't need a slant board, but it does make it easier, especially if you're starting out and you can't get this big toe pad down while getting into a leg bow. Back knee or back foot can be in a toe tuck with the knee down, pulse here, head over foot, or you could be heel away. Same thing, hold it in the end range or pulse in and out of it, or toe tuck and then go straight leg, keeping this kneecap pointed with this front kneecap. You don't want to have your back leg straight, but then have this kneecap pointing in the opposite direction. Here, and pulse here, or to straighten this back leg here. So go about 20 to 30 reps of the rocker, and then superset that with 20 to 30 reps or seconds on the half kneeling, and then you can start getting into more standing variants. So I'm not going to waste much time or much more time. I'm just going to get into my squat and hinge. So wall assisted is better for beginning. So just find a wall that you can set up on, and then you don't need, again, you don't need slant boards, but they do make it a lot easier to set that inside ankle bone high. Especially you'll find when you hinge, when a lot of people hinge, they'll drop their inner ankle bone to the floor. So when you hinge, we want this kneecap, we want both kneecaps to be pointing in, because the hinge is the corner, the squat is the bow. So when you hinge here, people will mistake their kneecaps being pointed in to now drop their shin bones in. We want this inner ankle bone to climb high as we hinge. And a lot of people can't do that because their ankle is pretty much glued to their foot. That's why a lot of people say that the ankle is a hinge. It's not a hinge. The ankle is supposed to rotate out separate from the shin is supposed to rotate out separate from the foot. And a lot of people can't do that, so they just assume that the ankle is a hinge. It's like if you were to tell someone that your hips, if you never saw a video of someone doing the splits and you went to a nursing care facility and said that everyone can do the splits, they would look at you crazy because they've never seen someone do the splits. That was kind of a bad analogy. But about 2 fists width apart from the wall. I'm taller, so I'm about 2.5. But setting your butt up on the wall, making sure we don't pressurize the wall too much, that if the wall were to vanish, that you would fall backward, but enough to where you're not falling and trying to balance yourself. It's just there for balance. So fist width apart, second toe is pointing straight. We don't want to pigeon toe. We don't want to have our feet crooked. Light on the wall. Heels stay down, but not being pressurized. So the skin of my heel is on the ground, or it's on the board, but I'm not actually pushing through my heel. I'm pushing through, again, these 3 pivot points, these 3 points of right in front of the heel. It's like right below this bone right here, this outside ankle bone, right here. You can see right here, you can feel it all the way up into behind my pinky toe, then wrapping around to my big toe. So again, second toe straight, fist width distance, butt on the wall, head forward, and you're just repping out squats, going down as far as you can without lifting up your heels. Back up, keeping this head forward and the butt back the entire time. So you're not getting up here. You're not going to be thrusting forward and standing all the way up. We're keeping this head forward and the butt back for about 20 reps. And go as far as you can without lifting up your heels. So if I were lifting my heels, ooh, we don't want that. Just trying to activate, trying to open up and get space in my hips and in my ankles. You can go mini reps here, small reps, or you can do full reps, getting all the way up into the top. But keeping your elbows inside your hand, or elbows inside your knees. So we don't want to get out here and have these knees point in or point straight. We want to have these kneecaps be pointing out, and the shin and femur to be spiraling out, down, back, and out as we load. So we aren't pointing the kneecaps directly forward, having our knees shoot over our toes. That concept isn't a bad thing, but we want to cue knees behind toes while in this kind of half range of the squat. And then as we get down further, the knees are going to go over the toes. But I can't get there yet. So this half range, I'm cueing to keep my knees behind my toes, elbows inside my knees to make sure I'm bowing out accordingly. We don't want to bow out so much that this heel spins in and or this big toe pad pops up. So if you're on the ground, it's going to be a lot easier to pop that big toe pad out, to pop that big toe pad up off the ground. So the reason that the slant boards are so useful is because it makes it very hard to do that. It makes it almost hurt to do that. But if you're on like a carpet, or you're on carpet or a soft surface, this big toe pad is going to pop up for some people, or for a lot of people, if they're doing it wrong, because their ankle is again glued together. Their foot and shin can't separate and swivel independently. So about 20 reps of the squat, and then 20 reps of the hinge, or you can combine them, which I'll show at the end. But after about 20 reps of squatting, that's good. Go into the hinge. So the bow is the squat, the corner is the hinge. So my kneecaps are now going to point inward, or I'm going to try to point them inward. If you feel like they're pointed out, you can put your hands on your knee, in your knee area, and try to turn your kneecap in. So, or your knee in. So you aren't like actually like you aren't actually pulling your kneecap. You're trying to turn your femur and your shin in, so the kneecap can point in and cross-eye with each other. So I'm trying to point this kneecap over this foot here, and I'm trying to point this kneecap over this foot here. But I'm a little limited right now. But as I get warmed up, I'll be able to get it better. Keeping the knee straight, keeping the leg straight. The corner is the leading, so you don't jump off the ground with your knee bent. So when I have this tailbone up, these knees straight, not hyperextended, but straight enough so it imitates leaving the ground on a sprint or on a jump. Again, keeping that butt light against the wall, not leaning up against the wall. Like if the wall were to disappear, I would still be standing, pressurizing the outside edge of the foot, keeping that big toe pad down without collapsing the foot over. Holding here, and then as you get more advanced, you can hold the kneecaps to point in. So I'm decent right now. They're like pointing a tiny bit in. I guess I'll start to rip out some full hinges. So you can grab the board, hang out here for a second, back up, back down, hang out here for a second, back up, keeping this butt back and head forward, and then grabbing down. So your back will be pretty much flat up until this halfway range, or down into this halfway range. Then as I reach my hands, now my back starts to round. It's probably rounding a little bit more than it should, but I'm just trying to get my kneecaps to point in. And then later, as you get more advanced, you'll be able to keep your stomach closer to your quad, I guess. It'll kind of be more of a forward fold. So I'm trying to forward fold here. My mid back is rounding a little bit too much. I wouldn't worry about it too much unless your back is hurting. But again, trying to keep the kneecaps pointed in the entire time. Going about 20 reps here, and back into your squat. It's going to burn out your back. It's going to burn out your ankles. You just don't want it to hurt. The burn is okay. The pain is not okay. And some of the exercises may hurt a bit, like on a scale of 1 to 10, they might hurt 1 to 2. That's fine. You just don't want it going above like a 4. Then it becomes a problem. So just showing the back view on it or side view, just to see that the butt isn't heavy against the wall on this. So second toe straight, fist width distance, butt against the wall. Go down into your bow, elbows in, kneecaps point out. Repping this out, butt is light against the wall. Heel is trying to stay down as long as possible without or with putting the kneecaps out. Back flat, head forward, butt back, nose stays in the middle. You can go half or pulse out half reps or go full reps here. As you get more advanced, we want this butt to be almost hitting the heels, but I'm not there yet. If your ankle is more glued together like me, this is going to help a lot. Kind of untangle that and get your full squat, keep squat unlocked. And going into your hinge, same thing, light on the wall, second toe pointing straight. You'll find a lot of people when they hinge or when they try GOATA for the first time, they'll try to pigeon toe the hinge. It's not terrible, I don't think, but we want to get this ankle to be unlocked, because when you compensate with the feet like this, you're compensating because you don't have enough ankle range of motion. So what the goal with this exercise is to get that ankle range of motion, so you don't want to cheat yourself there. So again, pointing the kneecaps in, trying to turn your shin and your hip in to get your kneecaps to point cross side. About halfway down, back stays flat, and at the end you can kind of let it round a bit, trying to get your stomach close to your quad here. About 20 reps here. I'll cut it short just so I can show the squat to hinge. So if you're kind of short on time, you can go squat to hinge. So I get up here, boom, and then I go into my squat, elbows inside the knees, boom, up top again, now I'm in my hinge. So squat to hinge, working that hip, working that ankle, working that tail forward, tail back, crown forward, working that low back. The low back's going to burn out here. That's a good thing as long as it doesn't hurt. If it hurts, you're probably doing, or you are doing the wrong form if it hurts, or you just have a really weak back. About 20 reps here, 20 reps of the squat or the hinge, or 20 reps of the squat to hinge, but just do it 2 times more. So ideally, get about 3 sets of the squat to hinge. Get about 3 sets of the squat, and then the hinge, superset them. And then if you want to combine them, the squat and the hinge, then do 6 sets of 20 reps.